Hey, welcome internet. Welcome back to the little shop here in the basement. I kinda lost track a bit what I showed you last time in the new tools and contraptions series, but I'll just go through the things that have showed up here and then we can figure it out. So first is this cool little saw. With the, if I remember correct, the Champion tooth setting on there, which I just couldn't leave there where it was. I mean, you see it's pretty rusty, so needs a bit of cleaning, sharpening. It's missing one tooth over here, but that's not that bad. And the one here on the front, but yeah, that's something not to worry about. Came with a cool handle, has the nice emblem on there. It's from the German brand Heckenrose, and yeah, can't wait to clean it up and get it back into working order. So that's a cool little find. Then one more of those perfect handle screwdrivers. A little one, a cute tiny size, a little bit bent, but probably fixable with a few hammer blows in the vise. Let's see. Then I came across a really cool bit for a brace, 25 millimeters in diameter, so it's 1 inch. Which is quite uncommon for the European world, where usually all those drills only come in the even sizes like 18, 20, 22, 24 and then 26. So getting a 25 was kind of a lucky find. Then I got a real cool carving gouge, nice and wide, which is in pretty good condition. If you want to know, it's from Stella Bianca, so I guess that's Italian or Spanish. I have to look that up, but yeah, a bit of derusting, a nice little sharpening, and it's good to go. And then I came across a really cool find. One of the sellers had those packed up blades for molding planes, and well, usually you just find a plain body without the wedge and without the iron. I don't know why, but this guy had only a bunch of blades. So these one here are all the same thickness. This stamp in there, it's Drillmann, but I can't really make it out if that's the manufacturer or that's the previous owner. But the really cool find is this set here, which is not just plain plate, straight plain blades, but for molding irons. I don't know. Really a really cool assortment of basically all the same style, all the same profile, but in different sizes. I don't know yet if they belong to some sort of a combination plane or so. I'll have to look that up. If someone knows something about that, please let me know. Will make my life easier to have a term to search for. But yeah, I just had to take these home, even if I don't find the correct plane they once were fitted to. I can like put them in one of the planes that is missing its iron and file them down and grind them down to the correct shape. Would be doable. So they go straight to derusting, and then maybe we can figure out what the stamps are and find the correct use for them. Oh, maybe there's something written on here. Just let me take a peek. I mean, just look at that handwriting. Yeah, well, it says Carnies-Hobeleisen, which would mean like this OG profile plain irons, and then it's listed all the sizes that are in there. But unfortunately no further information. So probably those are new old stock and were meant for people to make their own bodies and just put the plain irons in there. I don't know. Maybe something comes up with the name when I put that into Google. And yeah, then enough with the old stuff. Something pretty new and shiny came in. I just couldn't resist. I had to get one of those Zoe portable oscilloscopes for like tinkering around with Arduino or so, and figuring out if your PWM is running the correct frequency and doing what you expect. Those are pretty handy. They're small, compact, portable, and not so cumbersome than the big hammock I have. So yeah, and for that price I just couldn't resist. Pulled the trigger and here it is. Let's see how useful it will prove itself in the future, and then we can make good use of it. Next up, some more cool tools. Here, nice hefty knife. I'm not really sure if it's a butcher's knife for chopping through bones or something, or if it's a woodworking tool, but I want to try split some shingles with it. I mean, it's not ideal, it doesn't have the lever like a real throw, but for the not so thick stuff I hope I can get through with this. And as you can see here on the top, it's someone already used it for something like this, so it's quite beat up already. So let's see how this goes, if it's a good thing for splitting shingles. And then once again, a cool blacksmithing tool. A little drift for making square holes. Needs a bit of fine tuning here on the edge. That's a bit broken there, but everything else from the handle part, from the head part, is in good shape. Since it's not really meant to be used as a hammer standalone, doesn't matter that it's quite wobbly here. That will just dampen the vibrations on the hand holding it while you're hammering on it to split your metal apart or to drift your hole bigger into the size you need. Then all the way from People's Republic of China, got those cute little diamond files, which are in different sizes and different shapes, and I hope that they will fit those intricate carving tools that I have to sharpen every once in a while, and will make sharpening those a bit easier, because getting in there into all those fine details is quite a pain, and since I like my flat diamond stones really much, I hope those ones will serve me well. And then the final, no, not really the final piece, but one more piece which is quite cool is this one here. You might ask, what is this? Let me tell you, it's a Felsenthal 22040. And what does it do? I mean, it looks like a fence or something. No, it's not a fence. As far as I could find out, it's what is used by military or Air Force, Navy, to calculate how much distance you can do with your ship, plane, whatever, in a given amount of time. You would figure out, okay, I can do the distance between two prongs in 1 unit of time, and then you can get how far it can go in 10 hours. Since I'm not flying a plane or riding a boat, I will probably use those nice, equally spaced, equally distant prongs to lay out joinery, to calculate maybe placing of rivets or everything else that I want to have spaced neatly apart, and therefore this thing comes in really handy. So I'm quite glad I could pick that up. Every once in a while you come across a situation where you want to grab onto a ring or some ring-shaped object, and I just had to get those little pliers. They have a round prong here, and then a C-shaped section there at the bottom, and you can hold things tightly while maybe engraving or cleaning them or buffing them. But they're also great for forming like little pieces of sheet metal. I mean, it's not that much that fits in there, but yeah, you can. I'm sure I can find a use for those ones. And something that is probably more useful is this nifty little gadget, which is a center punch but for bigger holes. And you can see it, so it's like the cone on here is like 15 millimeters or so. So for example, if you're having a bigger hole somewhere and you want to drill another corresponding hole right in the center, then how do you get the center there? Well, you put this one in, it locks, it places itself in there with the cone nice and neatly, and then you can just give it a little tap and you have marked exactly the center. Let's see how well this works. I guess if you're really holding it straight and perpendicular to your material, it should work pretty well. But let's figure it out in the future. So the next goodie I want to show you starts with this part, which is quite nice and heavy, and it ends with this part. And yeah, you probably guessed it already. That's in German it's called a Höhenreißer, so something for like marking off your workpiece at a certain height, and you can set it to whatever height you want, and you can also adjust it and lock it down, and you can just, like on a really cool and flat surface, not the woodworking bench, something a bit flatter, you can mark around your workpiece and you have a consistent line scribed into it. Mostly used for machining work, but will also work for everything else that needs to be on a certain height from a tabletop or so. I couldn't find any signs of a manufacturer here. There's some numbers stamped into there. As far as I can tell before rust removal, they're matching, but on the scale here there's no manufacturer seal. But really cool find. Can't wait to clean it up and use it for future projects. Then I got this little cool doodad. It's an Allen key, but it's not your standard IKEA size, it's a bit beefier. I don't know yet if I ever need it, but for $2 I just couldn't let it sit there and rust away any further. So I'll clean it up, put it into the bin with the others, and who knows, maybe one day I come across a screw that needs this, and then it's there and ready. And then, drum roll. Opa! Got this lovely set of punches, number punches, and you can see they're quite heavily used. They're mushroomed a bit here and ground down, but the numbers are still fine. They need some love and oil to be cleaned up, but for $5 definitely a keeper, and also a really nice size. So can't wait to use those. Yeah, too bad the box is definitely gone. There's not much to do. I will create a new box of wood, or maybe at first in cardboard, just to store them somewhere. But yeah, that metal box, too bad it's gone. Also has no sign of a manufacturer on it, so that one goes away. But the number punches didn't come alone. They brought all their friends with them, and their friends are letter punches and other shapes that are in here. I don't know yet if it's a complete set or if it's just parts. But okay, there we go. Let me see. You can see they're not just the straight Normschrift punches, but they are the one with the little serifs at the end. So I'm hoping that in there is a complete set of punches with the serifs. So those are worth quite a lot of money, and I mean, they were basically the price of one of those punches. If you have to replace one out of the set, that is quite an amount of money. So far I couldn't see any manufacturer on there, but yeah, let's see. I'll sort them through and see if it's a whole set or if they're missing some or what's going on. Let's find out. So there you can see it's not a complete set. The ones that are stacked are actually doubles. After cleaning I have to check if they're all the same size or if there's also more different sizes in there. And that one on the back here, it seems to be either like a star or something. Maybe it's a smith's mark to mark his work. A few letters in there that might be useful. If I saw correctly, my initials are not in there, but yeah, let's see. Maybe it's cool for stamping like a serial code onto something or so. So yeah, and I guess that's it for today. Can't wait what we find next, and let me know in the comments if you want to see something in more detail, or have any ideas, for example on the plane irons, where they might come from. See you soon.